There was a very interesting case in the 70s or 80s in London where a builder had stepped on a 6-inch nail that had gone through his boot, and he was in absolute incredible agony, and they couldn't take his boot off. They had to take him to hospital. They had to heavily sedate this man, but what they found was he was still in so much pain with this nail going through his boot. When they eventually got it out, the nail hadn't even penetrated his foot. It had gone between his first toe and the second toe and had just gone through the boot. But the man had created the story in his brain, or rather his nervous system, had looked for such a high level of protection that it had inflicted that level of pain on him. And I think what they learned from that was that our own perception of our bodies generates a lot of the pain that we feel. And that's not saying that pain is all in your mind, but there's a huge component of how we experience the world that allows us to look for levels of protection. So pain for us now is really about how we're trying to protect ourselves, which is why when we think about it and we have that description that we just had, it says that essentially an emotional experience associated with actual or potential tissue damage. And what we'll see in this conversation is that when you hurt yourself, initially that pain is different from someone who has had pain, like your client with the chair, that she had had pain for such a long period of time that her body deals with it completely differently, or rather her body and her brain deal with it completely differently.
In that regards, can pain become a habit?
Oh, absolutely. You get better at being in pain. We know that the nervous system, in the way that it's wired, will look to protect you. Its job is to look after you. And so what it does is it tries to give you pain signals to remove you from a circumstance. So pain is all about, I would like you to change what you're doing. So I would like you to take your hand off that hot iron, please, because it's burning. We don't like that. Or I don't want you to sit in that chair because it will hurt your back. And so the signals are very much the same, but sometimes that internal conversation from your nervous system becomes aberrant and it's no longer as helpful as it once was because it sees pain everywhere. It becomes part of the McCarthy witch hunt for pain because it looks for things that might hurt you, and you just become much more sensitized